Okay, we are live. Hello, welcome to Monday. Monday. Okay, it's not a football victory day for us today. Okay, there he goes. He had to get the audio adjusted on his computer. Deanna, good afternoon from Prineville, Oregon. I don't know where it is in the Facebook page. I do not see it there either. So I guess you're stuck with the YouTube channel. I'm sorry. Okay. The video will be there after the fact. Yes, the video will be after the fact. Let's see who else is here. Jean is here from Mount Vernon, Washington. Good evening, Jean. It's afternoon out there for you. Linda, my Michigander buddy, how are you? I'm sure it's cold down there too. Donna's here from North Carolina. And Lee has a freezing 16 degrees in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I think we've got a little bit lower temperature, Lee. Ken just whispered that it's 7 degrees. Hi, Linda, my friend from New York, and Patsy's here from New Mexico. Janelle is here from South Dakota. And oh, Debbie, Cactus Deb is here.
Sure, Cusatus. Have you seen him?
Mm,
Hamburg.
Kathy Albiez, another Mount Vernon, Washington here. Yeah, Ken noticed that there was two from Mount Vernon, Washington. I don't know. Do you guys know each other? Gail Buchanan's here from Virginia. Jan, hi. Classy, you're planning on harassing me, Jan? Okay, let's bring it on. Evelyn's here from New Haven, Indiana. Charlene is from Colorado. Joshua is from Hamburg, PA. And Lois is here from Delaware. My goodness, we've got quite a group on tonight. Deborah from Virginia, Pam from upstate New York, which I think upstate New York is absolutely gorgeous. Wynn is here from British Columbia. Welcome, Wynn. Pam is here from Maine and Linda from Kansas. Barbara from a snowy covered Kansas. Do you know we just got snow to stick on the ground for the first time yesterday? Linda is here. Linda Lombardo says, okay, where is she going? There, yes. 20, but wind chills is 3. Yeah, I don't even know what our wind chills are up here, but I know they've had a couple of the schools close already. Linda, did I catch you from Albuquerque? And Judy from PA. Sheila's here from Virginia. Susan from South Carolina. Stacy from North Texas. Christina's here from Sweden. Hello, Christina. Chris is here from Toronto. And Jean is here from Erie, PA. Okay, wow, we're getting such a list here. Oh, there's Diane. Good morning from Queensland. And Carrie from El Paso, Texas. It's getting longer and longer for me to say hi to everybody. I'm going to have to start getting on here a few minutes earlier. Debbie is from Tempe, and Janice is from Wisconsin. Julie is from up the road, and Joyce is from California. Sandy, sunny Florida. I hope your temperatures aren't too bad. I heard it's kind of cool that down there right now. So let's take a look at what we're going to start working on tonight. Remember when I said last week, and we're just going to quickly touch over it again in case somebody missed it. We are Monday evenings going to be working with all of the embroidery edge to edge collection 1. Okay. That is 3 different sets of rulers. It is the starter sampler set that we're using to make edge-to-edge collections with. And when we get through all of those, we're going to use the feather collection. Now there's more than one feather, remember. Okay, so there we go. So we've got all kinds of feathers we're going to be working with. And then on the third collection, we've got the Starry Night collection that we're going to work with. But I thought since the starter sampler set is the one that most of us have begun our ruler quilting journey with, that we would start there and work through. So we have everything is numbered, coded and numbered. SS starts for sampler, starter sampler set. And then we go from 1 to 2 and forward. These are all to be made with only with the templates that come in the starter sampler set. Putting designs together for embroidery is a little bit different than putting designs together with rulers. And let me kind of get into a couple of the main differences that I have been noting as I've been going through these. This is our embroidered SS2. It comes in 4 different sizes, so you can start it rather small, 9 by 5. I'm just going to say 9 because it's 8 and 7/8 by 5 3/4 inches. So I call that 9 by 6. 11 by 7.5 or 8 inches, 13 3/4 by 9, 15 3/4 by 10 and 8/4. I want you to notice something. We do not have connectors on both sides here. We don't have a connector even on one side. What I'm going to do tonight is show you how to make this, but I'm also going to show you how to add the connector in so that if you wish, you can go like this one and keep stitching all the way through. You don't have any thread breaks. What you'll notice here is that each of these designs is independent of the next design. If we use the connectors, then they will all be strung together in one long line. Okay? Make sure that you guys understand that. Want to make sure you don't have any questions on that. And while you're thinking of your questions, we're going to say hi to Ronnie in northeastern Arizona where it's 37 degrees.
Whoa.
I'm so sorry, Ronnie. Donna is here from Alaska. Who else is here? Okay. Oh, Donna, yeah, that's you twice. Okay. And Kay's here from Brandon, Florida. Oh, Jean says that she really likes this design. And I'm going to tell you something, Jean, so do I. It's fun to actually stitch out. Judy is here from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. Welcome, Judy. And Kathy Rodriguez is here from Divine, Texas. Gloria is here from New York. We have really got a cross section of people tonight, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to set that one off to the side for right now. Here is the stitched out version. And here is my template version. Remember when I said at the beginning, these will not be identical. Um, we can't do them identical for several reasons. One is our templates don't always take into account the different sizes. You've got 3 identical designs here in 3 different sizes. And what you're gonna see on the ones that I'm doing is I'm trying to get the size shrunk down and enlarged to make it look as close to this as possible. It's never gonna be exactly the same. So if you do these and you don't get them exactly the same, don't beat yourself up. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna go ahead and set our embroidery section, sample, I'm sorry, to the side, and I'm gonna show you how I do this on paper. You can go ahead and when you print out, whoops, I'm sorry, guys. You can print out um, and enlarge it if you want to get the idea of what the sizes should be and which templates you should be using. Once I did print it out, I went ahead and drew it up. Drawing it up is easy. It really is not as difficult as you may think it is. What I did to draw them up, what I found to be the most efficient way of drawing them up. Oh, there's efficient ways and there's not efficient ways. Last week, I didn't have this down yet. This is still a work in progress, and hopefully, I'm going to continually find ways to make it better. What I did was I took my basic hoop size. And don't forget, you can get this book without the embroidery with it. This book is a great book for ideas. That's what I'm using, is that book. Once I drew all of this out, what I wanted to know is how big is this particular design, which is this design here. And if you'll notice on this design here, it does look a little different than what it looks like on the paper, but it's a close facsimile thereof. So the first thing I drew out was a point. I did a lot of points.
What was the book? The name of that book?
Okay, someone asked,
Julie Olson.
okay,
Judy Davis and Julie Olson.
okay, asked what the name of the book is, and it is the Embroidery Edge to Edge Lookbook. You can go to the Embroidery Edge to Edge and you can get just the book if you want without the embroidery. It's $5, I think.
Laminated, nice.
It is a nice book for the money. Now, mine is all laminated, and we get them that way because we're educators. Yours will be a book. You can also get a digital copy and print it out yourself if you wish. So you do have those 2 options. Oh, Christine. Hello, my friend from up the hill. Chris is here too. Okay. So I think one of the things that I also wanted to show you, because I know we looked at this last week, but I want to look at it again tonight, is you're going to have these very concisely drawn out for you as you go through. Here's the feathered designs. There's only 6. And there's 7 Starry Night designs. And there's 10 sampler set designs that we're going to work with. As I said, this is just a really nice book with ideas. Any of the lookbooks that come with the embroidery designs are available by themselves. All right, let's get back to how I figured out where things needed to go. The first thing I did was I drew a vertical and a horizontal crosshair. Casey, no. And then I started putting my dots in. And the way I knew where I wanted to put my dots in on my fabric, after I took the drawing, is I literally measured it. I came up a half of an inch and in 1 inch. So I'm going to come up a half of an inch and in 1 inch. And I don't think you can see that real well. That is my dot. What this dot gives me, I'll get that out of the way. There we go. What this dot gives me is this point on my design. So then what I did was I measured from the bottom to the top. The bottom to the top is going to be 1 inch. And somehow I've got my dots off kilter here. So this is the center of the design, and it's going to be 1 inch tall. And this is just how I started working with the designs. Because once I was able to determine the direction that the design is going in, such as this one goes off to, it's not a straight line up and down, it kind of jettisons over to the right a little bit. And this particular one is off to the left a little. And you'll see that I did that with each one except this one. I haven't done this one yet because I wanted us to work together with that one. The ones that look like onions, these look like onions to me. So what I wanted was this whole design is 1.5 inches. This design in the lookbook shows 4 layers of stitching. 4 layers of stitching to keep this in the same basic size would have been too many. So I cut that back to 3. And this is the point that I'm telling you that you will find that you may want to make adjustments. You'll need a little adjustments for here and there, and not to be concerned if they don't look picture perfect, because they're not supposed to. Okay. Now let's see where we are. Lee got the 3 digital lookbooks for free and printed them out. Absolutely. Absolutely. You do not have to purchase them. You could just download them and print them out. Christine, welcome from Virginia. And Barbara's here from Sudbury. That's in Canada. I know that. Lois says the digital book is a free download when you buy the connector template set. Very good to know. Thank you, Lois. Suzanne's here for my, oh, welcome, Suzanne. Lois says, I would use a small hole punch and punch out the dots so I could just mark the dots through the holes, then draw arrows for the angle. Lois, that's a beautiful idea. I think that's absolutely fabulous. I'd never thought of doing that. But I think you've given me a new lease on life when it comes to dots. And Linda made it in from El Paso, Texas. And hello, Jean from Newfield, New York. I hope New York is warmer than Michigan, although I hear some lake effect snow is going to be hitting Buffalo tomorrow. Okay. So, as I said, don't think that they're going to look exactly identical. They're not, and that's okay. You know, there's a lot to be said for using your artistic license. So, I'm going to show you how I'm going to mark out this big motif here. You know, when I first did this motif, when I was practicing it, and I'm not really sure where I got the other design because I was practicing another design, didn't even realize I had the wrong one for this week. But it was all of these guys, just different sizes, and it just about drove me crazy. And then it clicked. And when it clicked, it was like, oh, I think this is my new favorite design. So I'm going to see if I can use this in a lot of different places. So let's take a look. You're going to see that I did put the first dot in. And this dot measured 3/4 of an inch from my bottom line, which is right here. And it is 1 3/4 inches from this vertical center. So I put my 3/4 inch here, oh, that's interesting. I've got that dot at 1 1/4, not 1 3/4. Yep, I got the dot in the wrong place, guys. But you know what? There we go. It's okay because all I've got to do is erase it, right? And I only have the one dot to think about, so I've got to come in 1 3/4 and put my dot here. Now the top dot is the top of the design, and that is going to be about, I'm going to say 1/4 inch, and it's going to come 2.5 inches in. So I'll go ahead here, 2.5 inches and 1/4 inch down. 1, 2.5, and there's the 1/4 inch down. That is my biggest motif on this particular page, on this design. Now what I wanted to do, I'm going to put a couple more dots in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this portion of the arm. And it's 1 7/8 of an inch. One, whoops, I'm sorry, 1/2 of an inch from the vertical center and 1 inch from the horizontal center. So 1/2 an inch and 1 inch, and it's going to go right here. The next dot is going to be 1/4 of an inch, and it's going to be 1 1/4 inches. So a 1/4 of an inch up, 1 1/4 of an inch in. Next one is going to be easy. It's going to be 1 3/4 inches. So we're going to come 1 3/4 inches. And what we're going to do is it's almost on that horizontal center. So I'm just going to go ahead and eyeball it there. And this one should be, yep, 1 3/4 inches again. And it's going to be just below the horizontal center. So there we go. Now, gonna see, this is gonna be 1 1/2 inches, which means the other side should be 1 1/2 inches as well. And that's gonna just come in right there on a slight angle. Now you'll notice I'm not gonna worry too much about how exactly that angle goes in. 1 1/4, it's right there. But what I do want to notice, what I do want you to notice is that these guys here are fatter than this center um, triangle. So these guys are going to be fatter. And that's what gives it this look. This is fatter than this. And having these two lines in here that are curved accentuates that. Just wanted to point that out. So we've got 1 1/4 there. You know what? This other one is actually 1 3/4 inches. So let's go ahead and put that in because it is so different. And it's going to come out just a hair. There we go. 1 3/4 inches. We have every dot we need. The next thing that we need to think about is what is our stitching direction going to be? Are we going to want to break thread on these motifs or are we going to want to keep going, so to speak? Okay, we got some Deborah's here from Indiana. Welcome. Okay, Ronnie asks, what sizes are these block sizes? And what I have made them is 6 by 10, 6 inches tall, 10 inches wide. So I have my halfway vertical mark at 5 inches and my horizontal halfway mark at 3 inches. So I've got 4 quadrants, each quadrant being 5 inches wide and 3 inches tall. Why did I do that? The reason I did that is because it just made marking those dots so much easier than always coming in from both the outside vertical and outside horizontal. And you'll see these designs, these two fall totally within the upper left quadrant. This one, the lower left quadrant. This one, the upper right quadrant. But this one touches all 4 quadrants. So having the dots just helps an awful lot. What I decided, how I decided on the stitching path was I could do this, travel back up here, come over here. This whole motif can be done without breaking thread. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we can actually come out and work on this one. But again, here I traveled to come up to this. Chances are, if I'm going to do a full edge to edge design, I'm not going to want to stop and break thread. So I think it's important to figure out how to travel from motif to motif to motif and so forth. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay. Let me see what else we've got. Oh, Joyce was Joyce was making dinner. I hope it's something good, Joyce, because we had sandwiches. We had our great grandson today, and he just wore it. He just plumb tuckered us out. I'm telling you. The other thing that I wanted to make sure to note is I make notes, lots of notes on what rulers I'm using in different areas. Now, what I did with this one was I was using the 2-inch circle in this. Wasn't crazy about it once it was stitched out. I ended up picking this portion out and coming in with my 4-inch arc to finish this. However, I'm going to show you how to do this so that it's not quite as rounded. It's going to be more of an oval shape like these are. So let's go ahead and get started. Whoops. And surprise of surprises, I dropped something. Seems to be what I do best. I am going to start with this point right here. And what I want to do is I want to start on the inside and work out. You could start on the outside and work in, I suppose. I don't think it would matter either way. But the reason I want to start on the inside and work out is so that I can measure my rounds easily. Always going to start at the bottom, pull my bobbin thread up. And right now I'm hearing Janice's voice saying, "Did you check your bobbin?" And I'll tell you why I hear that, because I did not. So if we run out of bobbin thread tonight, be kind. I am going to eyeball this. I want one around here and one around here. 1, 2, 3, and I think that's good. I'm using my spacing gauge because I want to just use this arc. This portion of the circle is going to be my arc. And it is the same, it is a 2-inch arc. Take my 1 stitch in place. The smaller the space we take, the more oval it will appear. And get the thread out of the way. Remember, we're not burying this thread because it is a practice piece. And now we're going to come on the other side and end up right where we started. I guess that got a little smaller than the last one did. I'm gonna come out and do the second one. I like to keep my stitches just a little bit smaller when I'm doing circles or ovals or arcs because it'll feel smoother. And now we're going to go back to where we started. And we're going to do the third one here. There's my dot. to the dot, and then I'm turning it around. I'm only, bless you, Ken. Poor Ken's over here just sneezing away. And here's our third. Could we do a fourth? Yeah, we certainly could. Do you want me to? I'll be happy to. What we want to do is we want to remember to do the fourth one, we want to keep in the same trajectory here. We want our 1/4 inch to finish right about there. And we're going to come down and stop, turn it around, and come back to the starting position. Isn't this easy? I love this design. Look at that. It is so pretty. Hi, Brenda. Good evening. Janice is laughing at me. Oh, okay. Yeah, because she knows. She knows. First question she always asks me is, did you change your bobbin? That is pretty. And did you see how easy that is to do? It really is a very easy motif. You can make it as big or as small as you want. As a matter of fact, over here, we're going to supersize it. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get from this point to this point. And what I decided I needed was a 3-inch arc to get there. Could I use my edge-to-edge templates? Absolutely. If I did not have the edge-to-edge templates, but I have my starter set, I would use my 3-inch arc being my clamshell. My clamshell is a 3-inch arc. So I'm going to grab these out of the package. And the one I liked the best was the C. And remember, we've got stable tape on both sides because it is an asymmetrical template. If it's asymmetrical, we are going to be able to flip it and get 2 different angles or 2 different designs. So let's go ahead and use that. And I'm just going to get my paper and stuff out of the way. There we go. Making sure I do use my spacing gauge a lot when I am doing these projects. When you use your spacing gauge, remember you don't want it on the corners. You want it straight flush. And I'm going to just stitch to the next dot. I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking this turned out to be so far much easier than I was anticipating. When I was asked to do this, I said, "Oh, sure, I'll be happy to." And then I started looking at it and I went, "What did I get myself into?" Oh, but after I started working with it, I realized it's not so bad. Now, what did I do? There it is. 12-inch arc. I'm going to come down. I'm going to stitch this without traveling. So let me show you the stitch pattern that I came up with. This over just a little bit. We're going to come down on this side. And then we're going to come out here, down here, around here, up, and then back down. Then we are going to come, and this is one that I did break thread. Then we're going to come out like this, up here, back this way, down the arc, back up and meet it here and up to the top and break thread. It's fun to try and figure out how to do things without having to stitch over things twice. Uh, If I come here, 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 up and down, back up, and then back up here and finish. And that is the way that I came up with the stitching plan. Dot to dot here. Leave that first stitch in place because I don't want toe catchers. Making sure that I move my camera back. Stop, make sure your needle's down. Remember, those of us who are using the vintage machines, we have to do these things manually. For those of you who are using the newfangled fancy machines, you could just press your needle down function and it will be great. Again, the spacing gauge for this particular project is a must. Now we're coming down. Now this part of it is this part here. We want a curve in it. And according to my notes, I used the 6-inch spiral to get a 6-inch arc. And
I don't have,
hmm,
I don't have.
it just told me he doesn't have it. I never trust a man who says he doesn't have my templates. I'm just kidding. He's got his own. And so here we're going to use that 6-inch arc. I didn't want anything more severe than that because it just gave it perfect size. I love this design. I love it, love it, love it. So now what I decided, I would come up on this side and come back down on the opposite side. And when I look at my cheat sheet that I made for myself, I still am using my 6-inch arc over there. So let's go here and here. And up we're going to go. We're going to stop when we hit that intersection. And now I'm just going to flip my template over, put my spacing gauge back in here. and come down this way. Now, there we go. I don't know if any of you gals are planning on going to Paducah this year, but the education list just came out today. It is exciting. Sarah Thomas is going to be there. Ricky Timms is going to be there. Alex Anderson, I believe, is on that list. Kate Quinn is going to be there. When I saw that list of instructors, I just had to smile. I'm so glad that I get to go this year. And yours truly will be there as well. I will be there in the Sew Steady to be demonstrating Sew Steady on the floor this year. So that is really exciting for me. It will be my first time. So if you are in the area, please stop by and say hello. It's so nice to be able to put a face with the names. They have an absolute fabulous lineup of talent going to be there teaching. Kate's got some awesome classes this for the planned for there. Sarah has awesome classes planned for there. It's like the all-stars of ruler work will be there. And me. I'm not an all-star, but I will be there too. Oh, I'm excited, guys. Really excited. Okay, so here we come back down. We want to meet right on the center, the bottom there. Stop. Oh, guess what? I dropped something. Surprise. Oh, and coming back to the top. And right there. Now I need my straight 12-inch arc, which is what I dropped. Or I could just use this one too because it's already in my hands. What do you think? And here we go to complete the motif. There we go.
I see a problem with your machine.
Ken just told me he sees a problem with my machine.
The thread's not through the loop, the door loop.
It always comes out of this door loop that he just pointed out. Yeah,
Mhm.
there we go. And now I am going to break thread, guys. Didn't that turn out nice? And granted, it's not exactly the same. I've got this one coming down further, but you know what? It's okay. Gloria, you like that? Cool. Barbara, I wish you could go too. I have been threatening to go to Paducah for years, so I'm really excited that I get to do it this year. There'll be other places too that we'll be going to. So now I have my next point that I put in. It's right there. And I need to travel from here to here. I was a purist when I drew this out. I only used the starter sampler set. So I used the 4-inch arc to get from here to here. And that's what I'll do this time. I'm also going to show you how to put the connector on tonight, okay? I always ask if it's okay, but I don't think anybody will object. There we go. Okay, what was that? It's on your side on the floor under the exerciser. I don't know how I did that. I'm constantly dropping things. It's just my ammo. Okay. Thank you, Ken.
Something ain't that tunnel too.
Oh, that's the instructions. And off we're going to go with our 4-inch arc to connect these next motifs. And stop at that next point that I put in. I am going to go ahead and trim my thread. The next item is another one of these onion looking things. I don't know how else to describe it except it looks like an onion to me. And I used the 2-inch circle and the 4-inch arc. I believe the reason that I did that was because the 4-inch arc on this was too flat, but the 2-inch circle won't reach all the way out here. So I used a combination, which is okay. There it is. And I do believe, you know what? I have my first one and my last one marked, but I don't have any marked in between. So I'm just going to eyeball this to make it look even. There we go. And what's nice is you could take your gate out and leave it out because we're not using the whole template, just a portion of it. And I'm going to get just in a little further. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it. Remember, the reason that I do this much turning is because I want you to see it. When I am actually stitching this on a project, I don't turn my quilt this many times because it would be too difficult to do it actually. I just stitch in different directions when I have a project under my needle. And this one we're going to come out. Oops, wrong one. We're going to come out a little bit further. And we're going to come back in. This is just a cool shape. Now I'm going to switch over to my 4-inch arc that I just set down so I'd know where it was. Actually, not yet. I believe we can do this one, this third one with the circle still. And I'm going to show you how I would do this if, in fact, I did not want to move the fabric around. And there we go. Now this last one, you know, something's weird about this. I think what I did was I traveled and then came off of it halfway through. So I'm going to do that. Now we're going to, there we go. Now we're going to come out. Yep. And we're just going to travel over this and stop. I am going to break thread again. You do not have to. You could travel up and get to this point very easily. Now, the next one we're going to use, the next is we are going to go in this direction. What we can do is we can use one of our connectors, and that's going to give us, I think, a really pretty looking connection. So let's go ahead and use that instead of the 4-inch arc that I used originally. Going to start up at the top and check and see how we're doing. Hi, Kelly. Kelly's here from Arizona. Good to see you. You guys are still hanging in there. Awesome. Love it. We're going to go here. And now we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Debbie says the connections make a huge difference.
Deb says the connectors make a huge difference, and they do. Yes, they do. They're just fun to use too. I think. I just like them. Of course, I haven't met a template yet I dislike. There's some I like better than others, but nothing that I don't like. I'm going to go ahead and turn this again.
The pattern lights.
Deanna, the pattern lights. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Could you tell us a little more what you're thinking by that? Set those to the side. And on this one, again, I'm using the 2-inch circle. Now this time, I'm going to start going from the top down so you can see how that would work, okay? I'm not going to make this one huge because we're starting to run short on time, but I am going to use my spacing gauge to make sure I get right back to where I started. Just gonna come up on this one. And come back down. There we go. Making sure. Let's do this one more time. The more you do this, the quicker it will become. And this time I'm going to go ahead and travel so that we come back to the top because I want you to see how that's done as well. Now, as I come around towards that bottom, I'm going to come back up towards the top. What's really important at this point is don't move your template. The other thing that I caution students about, if you're going to do a lot of traveling, don't use variegated thread like I'm using. It tends to get muddy. I know that's kind of a weird word to say for that. But what happens is you end up with these colors over the top of other colors, where here they're beautiful, nice, clearly defined. And then here you've got pink and orange and lime green and yellow, all kind of competing for attention. So that's one of the reasons that I don't like to use the variegated when I'm doing a lot of traveling. I'm going to use the B connector this time. And so it's just going to come up and down a little bit, and there we go. Stops right at the top of that dot. I'm only going to do the outside of this because I want to show you how I'm going to add that connector on to go to the next space. And I'll need, well, my goodness, my fingers aren't working, guys. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna come off. It's gonna go in an angle right about there. And this is a little one. Out here. Now, what you're gonna see is this time I'm not using dots. I'm just playing with the template, getting the shapes that I want in there. That's not going to be severe enough. Yeah, this will work. And that's all I needed. This is a small one. And it's also going to be kind of a lopsided one, but it's okay. There we go. This is the motif. Let's do some more measuring. Where we want to end up is we want our connection to come off that way and end up right here. So it's going to be 3/4 of an inch in from the seam line and 1 1/4 inches down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to take this out because I want you to really see what's going on. This goes into our next quadrant, and it's going to go 3/4. Let me double check what I said it was again. Yep, 3/4 of an inch and 1 3/4 tall. So I'm going to come 3/4 of an inch and 1 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to put my dot there. What that dot represents is this dot on the next block. If you want, you can come from the bottom, you can come from this point, or you could go back up to the top. It's entirely up to you where you want that connector to be. And I'm going to pick mine up off the floor. Surprise! And I want my connector to come in this direction. So I'm going to start it at the bottom of this motif. Hold my bobbin thread up. I'm going to use the C connector. Using my spacing gauge. And 1 stitch in place. And off we're going to go. Get my circle out here. Now this is not going to look really great because it's right on the edge of that fabric. But this will give you the idea. Let's see if I can make this work. Might be difficult, but I might be able to pull it off. Let's see. Hey, well, we got 2 of them in anyway. And there we go. Now we're over to the next one. So that is how you would make this a true edge to edge. Putting that connector in, and over here, it would end up yeah, right about there. You can see that. So this is sampler set 2, the sampler set 2 design. Jennifer. Jennifer says she likes my sewing machine. Jennifer, I love this sewing machine. Used to be my husband's. I stole it, yes. He asked me if I wanted to try it. I said yes. After I tried it, I said, "You're not getting it back. You better go buy yourself another one." So he did. It is a Singer 301. It's a 50s vintage machine, and it works so good for ruler quilting and free motion of any kind.
Drop the street dogs and buy a foot and you're golden.
Right. This, Ken said, you got to remember to lower your feed dogs, buy a ruler foot, and you're good to go. And it it really is. It's just a great machine. Doesn't have any bells and whistles on it. I'm good with that. I really am. Oh, Suzanne, thank you so much. Suzanne says I always think outside the box. She loves it. Oh, yes, Deb noticed the dog sticker on it. That is a border collie, and it looks just exactly like my border collie. My sweet girl. She's been with us all through the place.
To Arizona.
To Arizona and back several times. Yes. Kathy. Oh, hello from Florida. Looking good to me. Thank you so much. I really think these are fun. They really are. Um, you know, there's so much we could do. And I was thinking about this today. I was having a down moment um, when I didn't have to be changing a diaper or feeding or burping or doing any of the fun stuff that babies need done these days. And I started thinking of all the places that I've been and the things that I've seen and how they have inspired me to make designs. And I don't know if I ever told you guys um, about the evening my husband and I were in Culver's having a hamburger, and there was a guy sitting at the table, and his shirt had the coolest designs on. I'm thinking to myself, I couldn't make ruler work designs like that guy's shirt, and I really liked them. And I said to Ken, I said, geez, I wish I could, he said, take a picture. So I did. And when I came home and looked at it, the look on his wife's face was less than impressed. I probably should have told them what I was doing. Okay.
Hey, hang on.
Valerie's got a question. Yep. How do I know which template to use for design? Well, Valerie, it's trial and error. It really is trial and error. And yeah, imagination comes into it too. Um, I draw everything out. Everything is drawn out before it's ever stitched out. And that's where these little papers come in. And if you're drawing things out, don't throw those papers away. Keep them with the set of templates that you're using to make the design. Make notes so that you remember 6 months ago or 6 months from now what template you used to make these designs. This particular project is all with the sampler starter set. And so it's kind of geared towards that. So if you went to replicate them, you would at least know what set of templates to look for. Other ones, it's just simply plain with them and with paper and pencil. So that's what I really like doing. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody for coming in. And hopefully, we're going to be able to just keep doing these. And tomorrow night, what are we working on tomorrow night? Apple Core. We are going to be learning some new designs with the Apple Core template. And then on Wednesday, we're going to work with waves. And that's where my brain was going today, was some ideas for waves. I've never seen them done the way that I'm going to show you on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow, Ronnie, Ronnie asked what time tomorrow. We will be 6 p.m. Central Time. So it's 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we will be here. I hope you are too. And until we see you again, thanks, Deb. Let's quilt.